Hey guys, with this unit, we're going to have two different opportunities to do a writing project. This is our first writing project, and if you look on the screen, it says selecting a topic for the Codex project. Let's say Codex project. Now, what we're going to do is you are going to choose a cultural aspect of a civilization to be the topic of your Codex I want to say Kodak project. Now let's just review real quick. Now we're going to go back. I believe it's on this page. Okay. Remember when we talked about the codex? It was basically a piece of bark paper that was folded, and it had painted glyphs on there that the scribes, the people that wrote, would write down stuff on there about the Maya culture or anything else that was going on. So we're actually going to create one of those. And here's what some more, if you ever went online and looked, as you can see, they're like folded pieces of paper. Kind of looks like a little fan. So what we're going to do is we're going to work on that. So I'm going to go back to this. So I want you to think. I'm going to give you a few days to think about this. Well, not that you have today to choose your topic, but I'm going to let you think about it. Think about the following cultural aspects that seems to interest you the most. Are you most interested in the Maya, Inca, Aztec agriculture, their farming methods, or their social classes? Choose one of these. By choosing, you are circling. Now, this is what you're going to be writing about with the Codex project. This is it. You're not going to be writing about a mixture of all three of them. You're writing only about one of them. Now, once you choose, I need you to think, what were two things about this topic that interested you into doing this? What were two things? Like for me, with this particular cultures, it's either going to be the farming methods or the social classes. That's just me. I've always been interested in the social classes. When I taught sixth grade, most of the cultures that we go over in the ancient civilizations, they have a hierarchy. And it was always fascinating for me to see those hierarchies. And just as they do, the Maya, Aztec, and Incas had a social class system. So I probably would choose that one. But I'm not you. I'm sorry, one second, that's my phone. I'm sorry, that was my phone. Okay, so we're going to be creating a codex project. That codex is we're not going to be folding the paper or anything. At least I don't think so. But so after you choose your topic and give me two explanations, I want to go over exactly what your expectations are for this project. Now, how do we know what your expectations are? Well, what happens? I'm on the wrong one. What happens is you have what we call a rubric. Now, a rubric is kind of like a answer guide for writing. How we have an answer sheet when we grade like multiple choice or anything. A rubric is how I grade papers, or even how I grade when I do group activities. I have a rubric on how I grade you. I watch to see if you're working well together, if you communicate, if you actually involved. So there are things that we look for when we're grading a paper, and we're not just reading it to see if it makes sense. There are things we are looking for. And these are examples of what we are looking for. If you look on the left side right here, these are the four things that I'm going to be looking at. I'm going to be looking at your introduction, the body of your paragraphs, and the conclusion. Also, is your structure. And I'll talk about structure here in a minute. Okay, for your introduction is going to be telling me what you are writing about. Now, for an introduction, you have 4 different things you can get. You can get exemplary, which would be the equivalent of like an A plus. That means your sentence clearly expresses the big idea of your topic. That would be your introduction is going to be talking about what topic you chose, and you're going to be introducing it and the big ideas that went with it. The other thing you could do was just sentence states the topic itself. That would be another example. Let's see, developing. This would mean like you're coming into it. Sentence loosely relates to the topic. And then beginning, your sentence does not relate at all to the topic. So I should not have anybody at the beginning level. We all know how to write an introduction. You're introducing your topic. Your body, which is what it's going to be about. All details in the supporting sentences are presented logically. What that means is there is a logic behind your writing. There is a reason why you wrote it the way you did. You don't want to go back and forth. Like when you're writing, you don't want to be writing about, let's say, the architecture, and then you come in here and talk about the food for a sentence, and then you go back talking about architecture. That's not logical. You want a nice, even flow. That would be exemplary. Strong is most of your details support the main idea. Okay, most, not all, most. Developing would be some details in supporting sentences are presented logically. And then beginning, which I shouldn't have to worry about, is few to no details. We're going to have details that support our main idea. Conclusion is a sentence includes new thinking about the topic, such as an opinion. That would be your conclusion. This is something new. After you've read and done all this stuff for your topic, you are concluding your idea. Okay? You have given me a new way to think about something. For a strong, your sentence restates your topic. That would be a strong one. You just restate what you said in the beginning. The sentence loosely relates to the topic, or it doesn't relate at all, but we don't have to worry about that. Now, structure. Structure is very important when we're writing paragraphs because it tells me that you are able to coherently put your thoughts onto paper. And I know sometimes it's hard to go from here to the paper. That's why it's a great idea to do a story web or an outline when we do this. Anytime I had to write a paper, I always did an outline because it helped me. I knew exactly what I was going to be writing about. So you have to brainstorm. And there's something that myself, still to this day have to work on it. We do not write how we talk. You can ask Miss Brown because she sometimes edits my papers that I would write. She would always say, Riley, you need to use big person words. And I would say, what? She's like, grown up words. So my problem is it's been a few years that I'm so used to talking at a 5th grade level that when I'm writing, I forget that I'm at a graduate level. So I have to think about that. So you have to think about that too. We don't write how we speak. Okay? It has to be a little more structured and a little more eloquent. Now, as far as structure goes, to be exemplary, all facts related closely to the topic. All your facts are related to your topic. If it's architecture, if it was social classes, or if it was, what was the other one? Oh my word. I have it. Farming methods. Went blank. Everything does. And you had to paraphrase. That means you're not taking what's in the book and transferring it directly from the story. Remember last week we paraphrased. We kind of took a sentence and we put it into our own words. We took the main idea of the sentence, but we put it in our own words. To be strong, most facts related to the topic. To be, and then most information has been paraphrased. To be developing, some facts relate to the topic, and then some information has been paraphrased. And for beginning, few to no details are related to the topic, and little to no information has been paraphrased. But we don't have to worry about that because I'm not going to have any beginners. Okay? No beginners. Because we're fifth grade and we can write. We can do this. Now, just to give you an example, I'm making sure I'm doing this right, okay? Just one second. All right. So we're going to go to let me title this real quick so it's fine with me. Okay, this is a paragraph on geographic features. So this would be something that if you were to write, and if I were to look at it compared, I'm trying to see if I can do, on my home computer, I did this the other day. Okay. I want to move this one over here. Oh, something's wrong. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to make this one smaller too. So what happens is I can get them side by side. There we go. All right, so this is a paragraph that the publishers created to talk about the geographic features. And what we're going to do, we're going to read it and we're going to see how I would grade it on the CODEX project rubric. Mesoamerica, home of the Maya civilization, has interesting and diverse geographic features. Located north of the equator in the tropics, the Maya lands include part of Mexico and parts of Central America. Types of land included lowlands, mountains, coasts, and rainforests. Even though the region is surrounded by water, some areas are drier than others. The land on which the Maya civilization grew is full of variety, with different kinds of lands, plants, and animals. Okay, so first off, let's look at the introduction. This is my introduction right here. Okay, that's my intro. So, Mesoamerica, home of the Mayan civilization, has interesting and diverse geographic features. Number one, do you know what my paragraph's going to be about? Yes, you do. You know it's going to be about Mesoamerica and geographic features. You know that because I gave you a clear and precise topic. Okay? You know that I'm going to be about Mesoamerica and geographic features. You know that. Okay? Now, the next thing we're looking at is the body. The body is everything that's in between the introduction and your conclusion. So this is the body. Located north of the equator in the tropics, the Maya lands include parts of Mexico and parts of Central America. Types of land include lowlands, mountains, coasts, and rainforests. Even though the region is surrounded by water, some areas are drier than others. Now, number one, is this laid out in a logical manner? Does it flow? Or is it choppy? That's what I'm looking at first. I do not want choppy short sentences. We want really good quality sentences. Does it support what I'm talking about? Remember, my topic was Mesoamerica geographic features. Well, right here, I'm talking about where it's located, and I'm talking about, Mexico and parts of Central America. Check. I give you examples of the geographic features. Check. And another thing, I talk about its climate. Check. So I have written, let's see, 3 good quality sentences about the topic. And then last but not least, we have the conclusion. Now, your conclusion, even though it just depends on how long your paper is going to be, your conclusion can either knock your paper out of the park or it can really mess it up. So your conclusion is really important. And I said right here, the land on which the Mayan civilization grew is full of variety, with different kinds of land, plants, and animals. I'm basically, there's a fly, wrapping everything up really neat so that the paragraph makes sense. And that's what I'm looking for when you write your stuff, okay? As you write, and I'm going to post the rubric on Google Classroom, and next week you'll have a physical copy of it. But as you are thinking about your writing, use the rubric as a guide. Make sure your introduction is clear and precise. Make sure your body supports it. Make sure you have a good conclusion. Make sure that everything is paraphrased. Make sure your stuff, all the facts are good and they flow easily. That's what we're looking for in this Codex project. Codex. I will say Codex so many times. Codex project. Now, we're going to go over a few days to do this, so don't worry about it right now, okay? Just think about your topic, and that's what we're thinking about right now, okay? So that's the Codex Introduction, and I will talk to y'all later.